All right. So what is your take basically on like a team like Seattle making the playoffs with a sub 500 record?
That's part of the process that's been established in football. And I think a lot of people sometimes look down upon that, but you have to understand this. When you go into training camp, the thing that you tell your football team is that the key to getting into the playoffs, first of all, is win a division. And every team goes to training camp trying to win a division. So Seattle, fortunately, won a division 7-9, and maybe shocked a lot of people. In fact, they had a home game, and the Saints had to travel, had a better record, defending Super Bowl champions, and went up there and lost. So I think anything can happen. That's what you realize about pro football. It's not who you play, it's how you play the day you play. And they were good enough that week to obviously beat Seattle. Seattle was good enough that week to beat the Saints at home, and then they had to go to Chicago. So this happens every once in a while. Generally, 7-9 teams don't get into the playoffs, but for some reason it happened this year. And I know a lot of people want to change the seeding. I don't think it changed anything. I just think it's the way it kind of happened this year. And will it happen again? Maybe, but it won't happen year to year. That's generally doesn't happen. So it's just something you have to deal with.
All right. What about the helmet-to-helmet contact fines about defenseless receivers?
Yeah, I think it's good in this sense. You don't want to use the helmet as a weapon for two reasons. Obviously, it hurts the defenseless receiver, but also can hurt the person tackling, and that's not the proper way to tackle. Coming up with football all my life, you don't want to tackle with a helmet. You don't want to tackle with your face. You want to tackle with your shoulders, basically. And the thing about football is you never want to injure anybody. And it's a game of violence. It's tough football. It's tough, but you don't want to put yourself or anybody else in a position where they can get hurt.
And what about the CBA agreement? Do you think they'll reach one by its deadline in March?
No. To be quite honest, no. I think they will go. There'll be a lockout probably, but I think at the end they'll find an agreement. We're not going to lose football games. I think fans are right now wondering how they're going to lose the season. No, and I was involved in that. I was actually involved in losing 8 games in my career for going on strike. They will not go on strike. They will not lose games. I think it will go to 18 games. I think they will find an agreement and they'll get back to playing. And rightly so, I think, because right now when you look at football, it's really become the #1 sport in America. It's a game that generates a lot of attention. Fans like it. And the owners and the players are too smart to lose sight of that.
And what do you think about Michael Vick's return this season?
I think he had a fantastic year, and I know Michael Vick personally. I think the first year he came back, he had a lot of things he had to settle off the field. And as we all know, when you have things that are bothering you away from work, you bring them to work. And he was actually trying to get his life in order. He did that. Philadelphia gave him a fantastic opportunity to resurrect his career. But I think more than that, he resurrected his ability to be the father he wanted to be with his children. I think he's done a good job off the field. Now, his improvement on the field goes without being said. He's become a better pocket passer. He's made for TV. When he's playing, you want to watch him because he's going to do something that you can't coach, that you've never seen before. And so I think he's done a great job. But the more important thing, he got his life back on track, and that's probably what we lose sight of. We look at what he's done on the field and we marvel all that, but I look at what he's done off the field and how he's trying to help kids now and really help himself. So I take my hat off to him.
I know you picked the Jets at the beginning of this season to make it to the Super Bowl. Do you still stand by that pick?
Yeah. I think I actually picked them to win the division, and then they didn't win the division, and they're a good football team. I think they've got good players. They've got it right now. They've won on the road twice. They beat the Colts at home, which is difficult. They beat New England, and now they go play Pittsburgh, which is a tough place to play. But I think they got an opportunity to win this game. They really do. I think they've got a swagger. They're doing the things they need to do to win games, and the quarterback is playing better as he continues to grow. He's only a second-year guy, Sanchez, and I think people lose sight of that. But the guy's won a lot of playoff games already. He's 4-1 on the road, so I got a feeling they'll go in and beat Pittsburgh.
And do you have any idea or picks about the offensive or defensive MVPs this year?
The MVPs, I tell you what, offensive MVP would be Tom Brady, in my opinion. I mean, even though they lost to the Jets, he had a fantastic year, and what he's done with that team. Defensively, I would probably go with Matthews. I thought he had a great year defensively. What he's done as far as not only sacking the quarterback, but the intangibles he brings to the football field when he plays. So those are two guys, but there's probably a dozen guys you could pick. I mean, it's a league of a bunch of stars and good players, and it's fun to watch them play.
What do you think about the NFL's decision to put the Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl again this year? Do you think that's good? Or?
Yeah, and I think they do it for a couple reasons. They want to keep you focused on the National Football League. They want, the league doesn't want to lull. In other words, they want to keep the audience captive. And I think it's good. I think it's really good they went back to Hawaii, because I've been involved in that Pro Bowl a couple times, coached it and all that other stuff. And players like going to Hawaii. They don't want to play the Pro Bowl over here. They don't like it. So I think it was a wise decision to go back to Hawaii. And I think it's a good week to have it, because there's a lull all of a sudden after the championship game. There's going to be a lull, and so now Pro Bowl's there. Fans have the opportunity to go over to the Pro Bowl. Now it hurts you as far as the two teams that are in the Super Bowl, because those players are not going to participate. But I think they put it in a good spot.
I want to end with the inevitable question: why do you play the game?
Well, obviously you play to win, and I think at any level, that's the intent. And I think sometimes, people look at your record and they look at what type of team you have, but I think the preparation that goes into sports, period, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, it doesn't matter. There's a sense of you prepare no different than going to school. You prepare all week for an exam or midterm. There's preparation involved in it, and it really doesn't matter what you've done in the past. The past doesn't have anything to do with what's about to happen now. And I think football is the same way, in that you put in a lot of work during the course of the week to have the ability to win a game. And there's nothing like winning. I mean, that's why we do what we do. And so to say that my record is this, it doesn't mean that next week's game is not important, because it is important, because that's what we do. I mean, we're a society that is driven on competition, and you always have to compete if you're going to be successful in our society. And so every week that you can prepare for a football game to win it, and that's why you play. I mean, that's why they keep score. That's why fans go watch. That's why they sell popcorn. That's why people go to the game. They want to see something. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. And I think probably the more important thing, there's a winning part, there's a losing part, but how do you handle both? I think that's the thing that we lose sight of. How do you handle the outcome of what just happened to you? And I think both of them are teaching experiences, and I think if you understand that, you become a better person by it.
Well, thanks for letting me interview you.
My pleasure, my man. Good luck to you. You like SC, huh?
Yeah.
You want to go to school there, you think?
Maybe.
Good. Good. That's a good school, man.